Hey yo, back with another video. Today I'd like to talk about spiritual weight loss and how we can let go of not only the physical weight but the mental weight that we seem to just keep holding on. And I lost 30 pounds so far on this journey, not only to get the mental right to help the physical. So I started up here to make it translate down here. I'm not a nowhere expert. I'm still continuously losing the weight. But I did think, 30 pounds is not, 30 pounds ain't no small feat. So I figured I could share some tips to help out with that if anybody would like to share. So what I'm going to start with is this book right here, The Secret Language of Your Body by Ina Siegel. One of my favorites. I use it quite a bit, especially on this journey of trying to release those illusions and those fears that we hold on up here, so then that way we can feel better inside of our own bodies. And the reason I'm going to put this first is to understand, how does the weight loss begin, and how do we get to the point where we're overeating, we're not moving enough, and we're ultimately gaining all this weight. One of the ways that I saw myself that I gained weight came from when I was a child. My mother had to undergo all these surgeries. She had her lungs collapsed twice, and I was there for both of them. I think I was 9 the first time it happened, and I forget the second time that it happened, but I was the only person here with her, and I was terrified. I was so scared that something bad was gonna happen to my mom, right? And then the last time she discovered that she had a brain aneurysm, and that completely scared me. She had to go under surgery, and what I found myself doing was just eating a whole bunch and just laying next to her in the bed because I was terrified that something was going to happen to her. Maybe she was going to die. And that was something I just couldn't handle on my own. So of course, me just staying in the house and just continuously eating. That's all I did, was eat and make sure that my mom was taken care of, to make sure she just didn't die. And that scared me a lot. So I didn't really have like the comfort of a whole bunch of friends. I was kind of a really shy and isolated kid. I couldn't really rely on my brothers. Everything was just kind of separate, and I didn't really know how to express to my family how scared I was. I really felt like I had nobody to tell that to. So of course, food and escapism became the way I dealt with those tough emotions, because it was so easy to stuff it down. It was so easy to go find food and just forget about it and go watch TV. At least that's how I dealt with it. And like I said, it happened during puberty. So a lot of times I just felt unsafe. I felt like I had nowhere to go, no one to talk to. I felt like I had to fend for myself. But because that's not how humans operate, I turned to food and eating quite a bit. And it took a while for me to kind of see what I was doing. Once I started dealing with my food addiction, because that's exactly what it is, it's a food addiction. Once I start dealing with that, I start seeing that I didn't have to hide anymore. This world is not unsafe. And when you're a kid and you don't understand what's going on around you, things are just kind of happening, you just kind of want to retreat. Or at least that's what I did. That's how I dealt with it. A lot of kids deal with those things in many different ways, acting out. Maybe they run away, I don't know. But for me, it was just sit down, shut up, and be quiet about it. But I want to get into some of the mental reasons why we might be holding on to weight and why we might gain weight. And in this book is really helpful because she has like a encyclopedia of all our ailments that we go through. And right now I'm going to read overweight. So when you become overweight, you could be holding on to guilt, shame, suppressed emotions, carrying others' problems and burdens, trying to cover your vulnerability, hurt, or abuse from the past, not feeling good enough, feeling stuck, punishing yourself with food, trying to push people away or keep them at a distance, not allowing your true beauty and essence to shine through, keeping the weight as protection, constant procrastination. And she said you're fat and obesity, so I'm gonna do obesity, see where that takes us. Obesity, feeling insecure and unworthy, needing armor to protect yourself from pain, trying to silence feelings by overeating, feeling unlovable, keeping people at a distance so they don't hurt you, continuous self-sabotage, conceding failure, self-loathing and self-punishment, stuck in a cycle of guilt, anger, and resentment. There we go. A lot of times, there's more in this book, like she got acne, which I could point on later, because usually dealing with your diet, for me, it was hormonal and diet-wise. But as you can clearly see, that a lot of times it starts up here in our mental, and we have to translate it into releasing all that guilt and all that fear, and how angry I was and resentful, and I just wasn't protected. I had nowhere to go, nowhere to turn to. And that's one of the reasons why I overate. And another topic I wanted to deal with was dealing with food addiction. The first time I even thought of this as an addiction was I saw a movie called The Whale. And that was like Brendan Fraser's big comeback. So I was really excited to see this movie. And in the movie, he loses his lover, and that's what triggers his food addiction. He was already kind of a bigger guy, but what really tipped him over the edge was that he lost his lover, and that kind of sent him on a spiral, and he became massive, and he neglected his family. I mean, he didn't really have any friends. It was pretty bad. And believe me when I say I understood that isolation. You know, a lot of people deal with their addictions and the hurt and the pain that they faced in their past many different ways, but I could really identify with him. And it's a shame how we treat food addiction. We treat it as, well, these people are just lazy and undisciplined, and, you know, that they're somehow bad, that they somehow have this flaw. But when we see somebody with a heroin addiction or a crack addiction, you know, we give them empathy, but not the people who have to deal with food addiction. And I think it's time that we start changing that, because now, before, like, I will agree, like, because I felt like I wasn't enough and I was so undisciplined that I had to punish myself for, why can't you get it together? Like, why can't you just put the piece of bread down? But with me, it was like cakes and candies and things like that. That's another thing that I was really craving, sweetness in life. Just hoping that life wouldn't have to be so hard and so tough. And one of the things I really needed was nurturing. And I didn't know how to give that to myself. I had to learn that over time, and I'm so glad that I did. But a lot of times we treat food addiction as just people being fat, lazy, and stupid. And then we go push ourselves in the gym, and, you know, we start trying to go cold turkey or eliminating foods from our diet. Like, it's not really going to help us in the long run. It didn't really help me. What really helped me was I was sitting at the table, and I just started cutting way back on cheese, dairy, and carbohydrates. No, not carbs. I'm going to say flour and bread. Flour, bread, and pasta. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I unconsciously start reaching for like potato chips. Like, it's like I blacked out. I don't even remember having the thought of grab the potato chips. Nothing. I just remember potato chips was in my hand. And I kind of freaked out. I'm like, whoa, this is bigger than I thought. How much of a compulsive eater I tend to be, especially when you're a little stressed out and I'm a little overwhelmed. How much of the compulsion to distract myself from my pain or from my stressful situation, how much that led me for so long. And I realized, wait, this is way bigger. This is just because how could you say that somebody that goes to work every day, puts in a lot of effort to maintain their lives, to go get the food, to make the money to get the food in the first place, how could you say that they are undisciplined? They need some sort of discipline, at least most of them. At least most of us need some sort of discipline to get to where we need to go. So I think it's a little bit bigger. I think it's a whole lot bigger than just we're fat, lazy, and stupid. Now I see the drug addict. Now I fully understand why it is so hard to put the thing that's hurting you down the most, putting it down. I felt so bad, so bad, that all these years that I thought, like, I'm not a big drinker. I don't do any, like, I don't smoke weed every day. I never did anything heavy, super heavy, past like psychedelics. Now I see, like, I used to think you so much better, and it's this arrogance that sets you from them apart. But you know, I saw that I'm wearing my addiction as well. It may not have been through track marks. It may not have been through just looking generally rough, like, oh, something's wrong. You know, usually with alcoholics, they tend to get puffier. Sometimes they get red. They usually have a lot of weight gain too. I wore my addiction, and I'm fully owning up to that right now. And I just, I feel sorry for the drug addict. There's so much empathy now. When I see 600-pound life, I don't see something to be ashamed of or something to feel bad for. Something to scoff at. Like, oh, why don't you just get it together, fatty? No, I don't see it that way anymore. I see it with empathy. Like, damn, that person must have really been hurt and has dealt with so much pain that they don't know what to do with, because I've been that person and I'm still working through those processes, but I've been that person, and now I can kind of see it with a different lens and have way more compassion. And just the thing of hiding is a big reason why we gain so much weight. At least for me, I never thought, it always felt kind of shameful to be in the light, or I always felt that I wasn't good enough to be in there, I was never pretty enough. I was never whatever enough. Just put whatever you want before it. I was never enough. And that's what I felt. So it always felt like I had to hide. Just hide. No one wants to see you. No one cares about what you have to say. Just hide yourself from the world. And now the more weight that I lose, the more that I see that the world is not, I guess maybe I did feel a little, like I said, it felt unsafe. So maybe everybody did feel like some sort of cancer or some sort of attack. Now that I see that the world is just opening up, and that you do get treated better as the more weight you lose. And I know some people are really resentful for that, but I'm not really resentful of it. You get tired of hiding for so long, and you want to share your gifts with the world. So it doesn't really bother me so much to be seen anymore. Gaining that confidence to be like, well, why wouldn't nobody want to see you? It's okay. It's totally fine. But totally understanding of why we decide to either punish yourself with food or try to comfort yourself with food. And here are some tips on how to relieve yourself. A big thing that I learned was to meditate. Not only meditating in the form of quieting your mind, do an active meditation where you close your eyes, put your hands over your heart or wherever it feels comfortable, and you call out every cell. You say, I'm calling attention to every cell, from my head down to my toes, to listen. Please listen to me. And first, apologize. Apologize for all the times that you put yourself on the back burner. Apologize for even being hurt by someone else. Give yourself the forgiveness to say, dang, I was hurt, and I need to forgive myself for being hurt. Because a lot of times we just, you're weak and you'll never be good enough, and why'd you even let that affect you? We'll say those things to ourselves, and we need to learn how to let that go as well. From our abusers, whatever. Tell yourself first and foremost, tell yourselves, I'm sorry. I acknowledge your pain. I'm so sorry that we went through that. I didn't know. I was under ignorance, just like I was under ignorance, and I really didn't know. But now we're ready to make a new start. Now we are safe. We are safe as we walk through life. We are safe as we go to sleep at night. We don't have to worry about the things that have hurt us anymore. That's a big one. Safe and nurtured, and then actually showing yourself how safe and nurtured you are. Giving yourself that bath. I know a lot of people like to buy the little plush toys that they didn't have. There's so many different things that you could do. What do I do to nurture myself? I go out for walks because I love nature so much, and it's super nurturing because not only am I getting the exercise, I'm moving my body, and I'm showing myself like, yo, you can do hard things, and it's okay to move your body in a way that you want to move your body, giving yourself the autonomy to say, hey, I can go out and do this, you know? Another thing you could do, boxing, swimming. A lot of times, like, at least with me, I'm such an Ayurveda? I think I'm a Kapha, whatever. I probably said that wrong, but I'm very warm. I'm a very, very warm temperament. I get hot easily. I sweat easily. I have real bad problems with inflammation. Usually a lot of times like hitting something, getting all this aggression that I have inside of me out, getting this out. Swimming, like anything that just go, that just give you like, you don't have to be super out of breath, anything to just like get you pumping. Just feels so good to just let something, whatever this energy is, this warm feistiness out. It comes out in a way that's, you know, productive, like taking a hammer and beating up a tree, or maybe just slamming an axe on some wood. All those things that you just like hitting something, you pounding something, you getting that anger out, really helped me out a lot. And also eating anti-inflammatory foods. Please stay away from a lot of seed oils because it's in everything. If you want a documentary on seed oils that I watched, that's pretty easy, 30 minutes. Put it on while you cleaning up. Literally would change your life to see how much food oils have transformed our country, how sick it's making us, how it's in literally everything. That's making our food quite addictive. And that seed oil stuff is really hard, can be really hard to kick because they kind of push that vegetables were good, and not that they're bad, but whatever. I'll just put the, I'll try to link the link to the documentary in the description box. And what else? You have to get rid of cheese and dairy and milk. Oh man, and I love cheese, but now it's just not that appetizing anymore. Oh my god, my relationship with food has changed. Maybe I should do a video on that just for solely myself. Getting rid of cheese and dairies, that can be hard, especially like I said, if you're like me and you love cheese so much. And I don't really drink that much milk. I switched over to oat milk. I'll still drink cow's milk for like, I don't really eat that much cereals because I cut out a lot of sugar. What else? Like I'll cook with milk, but I won't necessarily, I never took a shot of milk and just chugged it down. That's always kind of nasty. I don't think I like that anyway, but I've noticed getting rid of a lot of cheese has really helped. Not only with the weight loss, but with my acne as well. Maybe I'll do a video on that. But another thing I want you to watch out for is when you get stressed, watch what happens when you get stressed. Watch how fast you turn to food and try to catch yourself. And when you catch yourself trying to go for food, develop a practice where you can self-soothe. Because that is literally the disconnect. We're thinking that food is our friend and it's our lover and it's the mom that we never had or dad that we wish we had and the comfort that we never got. And we need to learn how to self-soothe. There's probably a whole bunch of books on self-soothing. This book right here could help out with a little bit of self-soothing because I do have like a little bit of guided meditations and affirmations in the back of the book of things you can start with. So this might be a good book for you to start with. But usually I had a lot of trouble, and a lot of people that are overweight have trouble self-soothing, giving themselves the nurturing, the outlet to express their anger, giving those things that we never had growing up, giving it back to ourselves finally, so we can really beat this addiction and really shed out the weight loss. Because as much as Did I like the body positivity movement? I'm gonna say I liked it, but clearly being fat is not fun. Clearly the whole world is not geared towards being overweight. It's geared towards being slimmer. And we need to really come to terms with that you don't have to be skinny. I mean, that's for the group of people that's for, but at least treat yourself better. When you fat and overweight, you show people, I'm not gonna say that, I guess that's not fair. But being fat and overweight do kind of show your pain, and it do keep people at a distance. And it's not because, and I guess it is because our pre-notions of what being overweight is, but it's time to let your true self shine through. We don't have to hide anymore. We are safe. We have so much to offer the world. We can let go of our anger. We can show our anger. We can show how displeased we are. We can ask for help. We can be vulnerable. We can be all those things that we couldn't be before. And now it's our time to shine. So do all the things and share it if you want to, and like if you want to, I guess. I don't know. Do whatever floats your boat. But I want to end this video here, and I'll see you guys next time.